Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. I'm enjoying day 3 of my staycation, though I have spent most of the morning working on side project stuff and some reading. A little bit of reading, but mostly working. Trying to solve a few little things, but it's been good. Yesterday was a little bit scatterbrained because halfway through a show talking about drawers, I remembered, oh, I know what I wanted to talk about yesterday, and that's frustrating because that's a good example of my brain at its worst, and I don't necessarily mean that, the way that that conversation. I don't mean that it's a bad thing. I have learned through 43 years of life how to embrace my lack of attention. And I think because of that, most people wouldn't be aware that I suffered a lack of attention. M is very aware. My children are very aware because they spend time with me a lot. But I think that most people, I have learned to function normally, or at least appear to function normally to people who don't know me. But the reality is, most of the time, my brain wants to go in 4 different directions at once, and I have to corral it and say, no, we're going to do this thing. And it's a skill that, like right now, pause what I'm saying. I just looked at the drawers that we talked about yesterday, and the tape is still on the top drawer handle. It was taped because a piece of it chipped off when I was sanding it, so I glued it back on. So I looked over there in the middle of this conversation, and I saw that tape and immediately wanted to grab the drawer and take the tape off. Do I need to right now? No. But that's my brain, right? That's how things function when I'm, quote, at my worst. Meaning that I'm scattered like I was trying to have a conversation about drawers today and then transitioning into something completely very much different. And it can be severely limiting. It really causes me a lot of issues, especially when I'm working on something that takes my attention for a span of time that I can't jump back in and jump out of constantly. And so I will use music sometimes to help with that. And I will sometimes just use meditation, like even 5-10 minutes, like even just close eyes, maybe 2 minutes, just close eyes, let everything go for a couple of minutes, come back, I'm ready. But often, lately, I have been trying to calm that inner distraction through reading. Not necessarily books. I am reading books right now, but this year I haven't read nearly as many books as I have in the previous couple years. But reading technical stuff, learning programming language, concepts, patterns, that sort of stuff, or just kind of like real stories. I don't necessarily want to mean reading fiction or long form or anything. I'm not reading the news. I'm staying away from that stuff. But that has helped. That has helped a lot, actually, to kind of, when I find myself being distracted, lately, the thing that I find myself being distracted the most by is the side job. Because I have a list of tasks that have been assigned, and I go, okay, I'm going to do these. And so one of them will get stuck, or 2 of them will get stuck, and I'll find myself thinking about those when I don't need to be thinking about those. I'm doing something else. I'm spending time with him. I'm playing with the kids. I'm reading a book. I'm watching a show. Whatever it might be, my brain is going, oh, did we try that? No, I haven't tried that yet. And that's frustrating. So, in those moments, when I need to bring my brain back, lately I've been reading. Just Hacker News is a site that I visit a lot and just read articles there. And it seems to help recenter myself. And then I can get back to whatever it was I was trying to do. Yesterday, I don't know why I was unable. I think I was uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable right now, actually. I need to sweep in here. The dust yesterday made me uncomfortable. Like it made me stuffy. It made my eyes itch a little bit, and I just wanted to kind of move. But then I realized, oh wait, I had this whole thing. And so I had to finish that thought while it was there, right? And that is another aspect that is at its, when I'm at its worst, is I'll have that thought and I need to express it. Like I have this just overwhelming urge to express that thought. And a lot of times those thoughts are not needed to be expressed, or they're disruptive if they are expressed, or they're offensive and, whatever. And I'm just going to say something that's going to piss somebody off. And I have to learn how to repress that. I should have been able to do that yesterday. The problem was I'd already forgotten the thing that I wanted to say from the day before. And so my brain is, if you don't do it right now, you're not going to remember tomorrow. You're not going to remember the next day. Do it right now. Like, let's go. That I have to work on. I haven't found a solution for that yet. I have. I mean, in the past, I've told you I'll write it down. And there's two versions of write it down for me. There's write it down to forget, and we've talked a good bit about that before, where if my brain is obsessing over something and it wants to solve a problem, I will write down what I know, and that will allow me to just let it go, because I will forget it. Like I won't remember, but if I take good enough notes, I can come back to it. The other version is, well, so writing it down to forget, but then also writing it down to remember is a much different process. Writing it down to forget can literally be, my brain is going crazy because I'm trying to remember the name of an actor or something like that. I can just write down, remember the name of that actor, and that will immediately stop the obsession in my head. The downfall of that is I'll come to that note later and be like, what actor? I have no concept of what I was thinking of at that point in time. The other way is the writing to remember, or writing so that I can forget but I don't want to lose it. That is I need to remember this actor, they look like this, I think they were in shows that were like this, whatever. That way when I come back to it I can remember it. Yesterday was I didn't have either of those options. I mean, I guess I could have turned around and taken a note here, and I didn't do that, and I probably should have, because it would have stopped that tangent. I still want to take the tape off that drawer, so I think I'm going to go do that. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know sounds smart as ombudsman. It is a noun meaning a person who is charged with mediating disputes between businesses and consumers, students and universities, etc. All it took to get Brock off of academic probation at UPenn was to have his father remind the ombudsman of how much money the family had donated to the university over the years. Ombudsman. O-M-B-U-D-S-M-A-N. That is a very weird word. What is the root of that? It doesn't even... None of those words make any sense other than man at the end. Ombudsman. Much better.